Our next story is also about competition of a different kind. Like young athletes, young talented musicians reach a point where they really need to get into a tougher league to find out just how good they are and maybe how far they can go. Ruth Ezell tonight has a story on taking that next big step.
Beautiful.
For 17-year-old David Ramos of St. Louis, the violin has played prominently in his life, virtually all his life.
Beautiful.
But like many bright young men pondering the future, David has considered all kinds of careers.
One week I would want to be a firefighter, then next week I want to be like a fighter pilot, and then I don't know, just like a lawyer because I'd like to argue with my parents a lot. And yeah.
So when did you start noticing a shift? How old were you?
It was actually pretty much this year, actually. I formed my own quartet. We started rehearsing our own music, and I realized that I was devoting so much time to music and not really to anything else that it must be because there's some affinity with music that I naturally have. But I don't really know where to take it from there, since it's kind of a new experience for me to be devoted to one thing.
David's focus this day was on preparing for his first national music competition. The Sphinx Competition, held each year in Michigan, was formed to showcase the talents of Black and Latino classical string players aged 26 and younger.
It's his first time kind of seeing what that big national arena will look like.
Former St. Louis Symphony violinist Amy Oshiro was David's coach for 3 years, until she moved to Philadelphia in January of 2008 to join that city's orchestra.
Just as a student myself, I did a lot of competitions, very similar to the Sphinx Competition. It's a great way to really develop your chops and kind of your inner strength, I think, because not everybody will win every competition that they enter, but it really toughens you up for the next challenges that you're going to see.
David comes by his passion for classical music honestly. Here in the center is David's father, Manuel Ramos. A native of Mexico, he's a first violinist in the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. David's mother is the cellist on the left, Catherine Lair Ramos. She's the symphony's assistant principal cellist. David is the youngest of the Ramoses' 3 children, all of whom play stringed instruments. While Mom and Dad made a point of exposing their children to music, they say they've never pressured the kids into joining the family enterprise.
We felt and still feel that music should be part of every kid's education. We don't think they necessarily have to become musicians, but just to be able to play an instrument is good. And that's what we did, and then they were the ones who decided to do it past just the point of being able to play. They were the ones who wanted to make it part of their lives. It's fun. It's fun for everybody.
When he was little, he used to conduct. I'm talking about when he was like 3.
Actually, he was 2.
And for a time, I thought that he was going to maybe look into conducting or something. But I think maybe he got embarrassed after we started making.
We made videos of him conducting. Yeah. It was very cute.
And then he stopped it almost immediately.
But from the time David first picked up a violin at the age of 4, the instrument has resonated with him. He also plays viola and piano, but here with the St. Louis Symphony Youth Orchestra, you'll find him in the violin section. 1, 2. Youth Orchestra music director Scott Parkman remembers when David first auditioned.
It was my first year, and I passed him in the hallway because he was here hanging out waiting for his parents to finish playing a concert. And I said, "Hey, how's it going?" He was very short, and they're kind of shy. And then in the next year, so season number 2, I think he had grown about 2 feet. And so I almost didn't recognize him. And, tall and, just filled out. And he just got really serious about playing his instrument and just took off. He's such a natural performer. And this is something you can't teach.
As David prepared for the 2008 semifinals of the Sphinx competition, he didn't miss a beat in the classroom.
It's set to 22 already. So
David's a junior at St. Louis's Metro High School.
He's in the International Baccalaureate program that we have here, and when he walks out, he can get some advanced credit from a school, or in some instances, he could remove his whole freshman year and place that experience as the freshman year and go in as a sophomore, depending on what university or college he goes to.
We're at Rackham Auditorium on the campus of the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, and this is where the Sphinx competition held its finals for the junior division. Unfortunately, David did not make it to the finals. However, one young man with strong St. Louis ties did, and I'm going to introduce you to him in just a moment. As for David, the fact that he made the semifinals puts him in a select group that's expected to receive dividends for years to come.
They are able to continue on with various scholarship support. They're able to continue on to the top summer music programs. They're able to go on to the top music schools on Sphinx scholarships. There's just a wealth of opportunity that's available to them. And more importantly, the network and the peer group that they're able to establish and connect with and continue those relationships long after the competition are critically important. And so David is going to continue to benefit from those for years to come, and of course we hope to see him again next year.
Our crew was not allowed to tape the semifinal round in which David played, but we did capture performances of the three finalists. 14-year-old violinist Alexandra Alvarado-Switala of Grapevine, Texas. 16-year-old Stephen Larea of Swell, New Jersey on viola. And 14-year-old Clayton Penrose-Whitmore of Evanston, Illinois. For 2 years, Clayton played in the St. Louis Symphony Youth Orchestra with David Ramos. During that period, Clayton was living in Springfield, Illinois, and traveled to St. Louis every Saturday for rehearsals.
In Springfield, there's basically no music program at all. And in St. Louis, it's better to be around other musicians and kids so you can know where you are in your levels of skill.
Every year, our junior division is comprised of young musicians who come in who we've never heard of before, we never knew about. And when Clayton first entered our junior division, it was the same thing. And they come and they give their semifinal audition, and you just sit in shock, and you're like, wow, there's just such tremendous talent, such tremendous promise here.
And by the way, guess who took first place? Clayton is one of the youngest winners of the junior division, which is open to musicians under 18. The first time he entered, at the tender age of 12, he became the competition's youngest finalist. Clayton joins a list of several bi-state area musicians who are Sphinx laureates, including 23-year-old cellist Patrice Jackson. In 2002, the Kirkwood High School graduate won first place in the senior division. She's a graduate of the Yale School of Music, is studying at Juilliard, and has performed with orchestras across the U.S. and abroad. This is Orchestra Hall in Detroit, where the Sphinx senior finals were held. And as the junior first place winner, Clayton got to perform his solo again on this stage. Clayton performed the first movement of the Concerto No. 4 in D major by Chevalier de Meud-Maupas. It's believed the 18th century French composer was of African descent. Clayton played with the Sphinx Orchestra, comprised of laureates of the competition and other professional black and Latino musicians. In the orchestra this year, David Ramos and his sister Mary Ann.
It was nice. I don't think we've ever played in an orchestra before, have we?
No.
Not together. So that was fun.
It's been a learning experience for me, and I really appreciate all the opportunities that Sphinx will give me in the future.
So take note of these up-and-coming musicians.
Beautiful.
One day, they may be featured at a concert hall near you.